Do you remember the mid-1990s when Mortal Kombat came out and suddenly every game out there, it seemed, had digitized graphics? Well, do you remember those fighting games that featured digitized graphics and weren't called Mortal Kombat? The vast majority of them were just god-awful. And, well, that was the first thing that came to mind when I played Scourge Outbreak. And under normal circumstances, I really wouldn't review a game like this because it's a Me Too clone that's just nowhere near as good as the game it was inspired from. So what game was it inspired by? Well, it was inspired by Gears of War, and it uses the Unreal Engine, but that's pretty much where the quality begins and ends. So here's the one and only good thing I gotta say about the game, and it's that it's $10. And I appreciate the fact that the publisher basically slapped $9.99 price tag on there and not $14.99. So that was cool. They were like, okay, well, it's $5 cheaper than most arcade games. But that's about it. Everything else is pretty bad. I like the fact that you can bring 4 players. It's a 4-player version of Gears of War. It's broken down into 4 levels, with each level getting a little bit bigger than the one that preceded it. If you play by yourself, the partner artificial intelligence is pretty competent, actually. I was kind of surprised. They'll help you go ahead and take down all the different enemies, and if you die, which most likely you're going to die a lot, they'll be kind enough to resuscitate you, which is pretty cool. Now, enemy AI is god-awful. These guys are brain dead. They will run directly at you. Sometimes they'll just stand there and let you just shoot them right in the face. Other times they're like bunched up together so they don't really know where they're going or what's happening. The 4 levels are broken down into a series of linear pathways that pretty much all require the exact same thing. You go from one point to the next point, and it's completely linear. And as you're making your way, there'll be a bunch of different things you can hide behind, which is where the cover mechanic comes into play. And there's just a whole bunch of enemies that you have to kill, and you have to kill them in certain situations anyways. Then you progress to another area, take out the enemies, collect either an item, flip a switch, something like that, rinse and repeat for about 6 hours, and you're done. Now, thankfully, there are a lot of areas where you can just bypass everyone, just run right past all the enemies, grab the, let's say it's like you need like a DNA sample or something like that, you grab that, and boom, that's it. All the enemies disappear, and you're pretty much done. Given how linear and repetitive the gameplay is, I really doubt most of you guys will make it through the campaign alone because it's just not exciting enough. And the story, I can't even tell you what the story is about because I lost interest almost instantly. It feels like such a low-rent Gears of War, even though it does have its own quote-unquote original storyline. Another gameplay issue is with the weapons. They're all over the place. Some weapons have no recoil whatsoever, so you can literally just press on the trigger like a madman, and then other ones where you press the trigger once, you end up shooting like, my goodness, like almost to the sky. So if you press it twice, you're just firing everywhere. So what ends up happening is as you switch weapons, you'll find that you start overcompensating like crazy for recoil that may not even be there. One creative element that was added to the game is the fact that you have Superpowers. And the thing is, they need to be recharged. And it's basically a shield that goes around you that lasts for about 3 seconds if you're being shot at. Or you can throw this sort of like beam in front of you which explodes, and it's sort of like a little wave that kills everything around you. But the problem is it's next to impossible to aim where you want to put that beam. Another issue is while you can control your, not control, but issue commands to your comrades, you always have to aim. So you have to actually, you know, press the left trigger or L2 in order to bring up your gun sights so you can aim where you want to issue your comrades. Like, in other words, to move here, go save that person, do this, do the other thing. And that sucks, and because you should be able to do that without having to aim. But the problem is the reticule is almost impossible to see. Another issue is the enemies are ridiculously strong. Some enemies you can shoot 6 times in the head before they drop. It's just ridiculous. There is a competitive multiplayer mode, but the weapons work just as poorly, so I doubt very many of you guys are going to actually like that. And probably the biggest disappointment is the fact that the game just does not look that great. There's loads of issues. There's pop-in, there's clipping issues, low-res polys all over the place, low-res textures. At times it looks basically like a mobile offering, which is really, really sad. So my advice to all of you guys is to stay far away from this one. Do yourself a favor and download another game from Xbox's Summer of Arcade or something else off the PlayStation Network, Steam, or what have you. For the full written review, hit up projectcoe.com. Thanks for watching.